The car scene to me right now is so polarizing that it seems to lack any sense of like communal direction. I'm AlexMartini with 2 underscores on Instagram, and today we're talking about cars. I want to start off by telling you that I have an opinion on this, and my opinion is pretty forward. You see, all the way back in 2011, I bought my first tuner car. It was a 1994 Mitsubishi 3000 GT SL. It was manual. I didn't know how to drive manual when I bought the car, and I spent about $4,200 saving up at my job at Royal Credit Union to buy this car. It was probably my favorite car I've ever owned in my entire life because it was the first time that I had felt like I was Paul Walker in between the first Fast and the Furious and the interlude between Too Fast, Too Furious. About a year later, I ended up selling that car and I jumped into the European car scene, not with anything too crazy, but a 2001 Audi C5. A6 2.7T with a 6-speed manual transmission for $6,100. And those 2 times when I got into cars, I had quickly realized the community and the forums that surrounded these cars were an absolute blast. The Audi C5 A6 was the ugliest car I've ever owned, but there was something about having a car that with a little tune and a little exhaust could beat a C4 Corvette, at least from light to light, and the way that I remember it. It would have been 2012 as well that I started the Wisconsin Car Enthusiast Club. This whole reason for starting the car club was to find a way to create a community where people could ask questions, talk about their car builds, and hopefully just enjoy a way to get out and get involved in something that was new. Forums were on their way out, and there really didn't seem to be a solution for bringing anyone together unless you already knew the old group of DSM owners or even the classic car muscle guys. That exploded. And right, wrong, or indifferent, it became the quickest growing and fastest growing car group pretty much in the Midwest. My friends and I, we started other car groups like the Minnesota Car Enthusiast Club, which we founded and started. We started one in Iowa and Illinois and California and Texas, just trying to see if there was something there that could make it work. And people loved the fact of coming together to hang out in a group of people and enjoy talking about cars. In 2017, we launched the River Valley Road Rally, where I got to bring people together with my great friends Gretchen Gaussman and Dustin Korth to enjoy driving around the Midwest roads without having to pay $3,000 for a road rally ticket. And the audience and the community we built there was also awesome. You spent time with me in 2017 when I started Fitment Industries.
Hey guys, my name is Alex from Fitment Inc., and today we're going to talk to you about the truth about XXRs.
That was, again, the same concept of bringing people together. And now Martini works, bringing people together through the podcasts and all the channels that we do and trying to start the build threads while getting people to share their story on how they built their cars. But before any of this was a business, it was always a community. And that's where my bias has always sat. I've always believed that what makes cars actually enjoyable to people like you and people like me is the community around them. Driving them is an absolute blast, but not everybody has the pleasure or the money to do that, which is why it's always been so hard for people to always see eye to eye in the car community. People that haven't done much are sometimes compared to people that have done everything. But the community is what makes it totally worth it, at least in my opinion in the Midwest, because without the community, you're kind of just doing things blindly. That's what always had made it so fun, was that you were able to lean on people, that you were able to be part of a greater whole. But between the middle of 2015 to now, there's a lot of things that have seemed to change in a weird way that I think makes it harder to be a car enthusiast. Now, the first one is super simple. It's just gotten more expensive. If you don't know, I also run a marketing agency. I help brands and businesses try to figure out how to sell stuff online. That's how I'm able to afford some of the things that I do with cars, and I'm able to work with some incredible partners. But that also means that I have a day job. That's why I'm filming this at 8:30 at night. But as I've talked to some of these brands brands, especially in the past couple of years, the cost of product has gotten so expensive for the consumer, but hasn't really changed for any of the companies. This is something I've always pushed back on with these brands, to say that just because you can doesn't mean you should. And so many car products, car parts out there have grown exponentially in price for no other reason than because they can. But that goes into everything being commercialized as well, which was one of my second biggest pain points, especially in the past 2 years. You knew that I stepped away from Fitment and a lot of other things that I was doing with inside that organization at the time. And I had always felt that I had gone away from just something that I wanted. They had to go on their path and I wanted to go on my path. And I wish them the best of luck each and every day. But the commercialization has hit a lot of other brands at the same time. We've seen awesome influencers like Kevin Vo go through it. We've also seen a lot of incredible personalities from Hoonigan leave just a little bit ago as well, with Vin putting out a video that now has almost 1 million views. And a lot of it, whether people want to admit it or not, has to do with commercializing this space of what was once built for everyday car enthusiasts, people that just blindly loved cars. And that goes into the third thing, this community change. There hasn't been, in my opinion, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's always felt like there's been a sense of community in the car scene in one way, shape, or form. If you went out there and you saw the most liked montage post from TikTok, it's probably Jeremy Clarkson talking about how all car people are a rare breed. And that feeling seems to hit almost every single car enthusiast, so that when that post comes through, everyone likes it. But outside of that, there really isn't a whole active community of people that are just trying to bring car enthusiasts together. Social media has changed to where even if you're new to something, nobody wants to say that they are. And if they do say that they are, they're almost lying about it because they're actually not. It's kind of weird how social media has changed from a way just to express who we are as an individual into catering our content into ways that make us seem better or smarter or faster than what we really are. And a lot of that is happening, where now it's not about trying to share your content with a community of people. It's about sharing content with a massive closet filled with people yelling at the top of their lungs to look at them while you also yell into that same closet for them to look at you, and hopefully the loudest person actually wins. What brands did seem to bring the community together though have sold. It seems like there's this like turning of the guard in the car scene where we're seeing a lot of this happen, and it's impacted, I think, how people perceive groups for car enthusiasts. I can go out on a single post and see that people think that being a part of a car club is silly or dumb, or that being a part of any group or going to a Friday night meet is a waste of time because the quality of cars isn't what they expected. Now the community has to be to the level of their expectation versus letting the car community breathe and grow in its own way. We live in Wisconsin. I live in Appleton. I lived in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, which is a tiny town of 62,000 people. And the car scene was always weird. It was always disjointed and kind of awkward. But when the Wisconsin Car Enthusiast Club came together, we started to see more people kind of cross a bridge almost, where you had different genres and different demographics like talking to each other. And when we left, a lot of that also went away. And I spent time at the Friday night car meet where it just seemed like the people that were there was half of them talking smack about the other half that wanted to be there just to enjoy being there. I don't know if I'm complaining as if I'm an old guy, but for some reason it just seems like the focus of being a part of a car community space, whether that was a meet or an event or an online group, has turned from just talking to sharing the passion into this group or this event has to do something for me. It's gone from a give into a take, and it just feels weird. There doesn't seem to be any push for like building a community anymore. There doesn't seem to be an era of trying to work together. It's just yelling into a crowd of random people. You're swiping between people telling you what you should or shouldn't do, but it seems like none of them have gone to do it themselves. And today, people have stolen what it feels like meant to be a part of a community. And for that, I kind of feel bad. I hope there are people out there that do want to take a chance at going to their local car meet, that do want to take a chance and reach out and meet new people. Every single one of my friends I met was because of a car club, was because somebody chose to help me out when I made a post on Facebook. These are people that I played League of Legends with. These are people that now are partners in a business that we're trying to run. And that all came from a community that I was a part of as just a novice, know-nothing car guy that just enjoyed cars because I didn't know how to play the trumpet or I didn't know how to paint. And if you're watching this, and maybe I'm the minority up here in Wisconsin, let me know. But I hope that if you're out there and you're trying to jump into the car community space, know that it is harder for you now than it probably was in the past. And there's 1,000 things that you could probably blame, and there's 1,000 people that will probably tell you it's the same. But for me, I do think it's changed. And I think it's changed away from being a part of a group to trying to be more individualistic. But the whole part about being a car person, at least at the beginning, is learning from the people around you and having a little bit of humility and not knowing what you're doing so that you can have fun with your car versus trying to pretend that you know everything already. It's like the joy is in the journey, not the end result. So let me know what your thoughts are. I'm Alex, AlexMartini with 2 underscores on Instagram. We hope you enjoyed this and we'll see you on the next one. Adios. Hey!